How to manage offshore teams. Is using remote staff a part of the planning that you need to do for your digital agency? Hi, it's Damien Papworth from Globotel here. At Globotel, we're here to help you design your digital agency so it delivers. And when we say deliver, we don't just mean for your clients, we mean for you also, the business owner of the digital agency. So you can create the income and the lifestyle you want, because that's why we're in business after all, isn't it? In this video today, I'm going to take you through effective management of offshore teams. This is a question that comes up consistently in our Facebook group, a group we've got just for digital agency owners to collaborate and share experiences. And the question is consistently, how can I get my offshore team to deliver first time to expectations every time, consistently? And it's a major source of frustration because it's very hard to do. Well, I'm currently managing in excess of 200 offshore people across 4 countries, and we're doing it pretty well. And we think there's 3 keys that you really need to nail if you're going to manage an offshore team, and I'm going to take you through those 3 keys right now. But if you're a digital agency owner here looking for ideas and advice and tips on how to make the most amazing digital agency possible, make sure you subscribe to our channel Globotel TV. We're bringing you a new video on digital agency every single Monday. Now to our video. So I think the first challenge is language. We must remember that these guys, these people who are supporting us from these offshore areas, English is their second language. They have a primary language which they speak at home, but when they communicate with you, they have to revert to a second language, which is English. So put yourself in their shoes. How would you go communicating directly with them in their primary language? For me, it'd be a challenge. So that in itself warrants a level of patience. They're not necessarily going to get the nuance of language, and we need to be a bit more patient when we communicate. The second challenge really comes down to their socioeconomic environment is completely different to ours. So what that means is what they see in commerce as they go through their day in, day out activities. It's very, very different to what we see in commerce as we go through our day in, day out activities. The shopping centers are different. The professional services are different. So what this means is that it's entirely likely, if you're having a challenge in getting a point across, that they've never actually seen what you're talking about. So they don't understand from experience the message you're trying to convey. And the best way to describe this, which I sometimes talk about, is it's like trying to explain what green looks like, or what a tree looks like, or what a green tree looks like, to a person who was born blind and has never experienced what a green tree looks like. It's not easy. And the final thing that makes dealing and managing with offshore teams a challenge is we have very vastly different education standards in the countries where we operate as compared to the countries that they operate. And that's part of the socioeconomic breakdown. So just be very, very aware of these 3 main points when you are managing your teams, and that will give you a lot more compassion and understanding from where they're coming from, and it'll probably eradicate a whole bunch of assumptions that you're holding when you're passing work to them and explaining projects to them. So that's why it's challenging. Now let's go to the 3 elements that you must nail to get offshore team management right. Okay, critical factor number 1. Let's call them critical factors because they're all critical. Critical factor number 1 is don't make assumptions around expectations. You have to be super, super clear with your expectations. And this means it's a responsibility and ownership on you, the digital agency owner or the project manager, not on them. So the extent that we go to with setting expectations, let's use a website maintenance job or changes to a website, for example, or a review of a website design with changes that need to be implemented. What we do is we'll have a spreadsheet, and every single incremental change will be recorded on the spreadsheet, change by change by change by change by change. We don't lump stuff together in an email. We don't lump stuff together in a document. We put every single change very clearly documented, line by line. Quite often that'll be accompanied with, a screenshot with circles drawn around it, that type of thing to be visual. But then in the spreadsheet too, it gives us the opportunity to have a completed by and a validated or checked by column that our staff have to initial as they go through each individual change. So we're very, very clear on what needs to be done, very, very clear on what needs to be done to show that a job has been complete. And then we're very clear that a senior person has to validate it so it's seen by 2 sets of eyes before it comes back. So be very, very clear with expectations. Look, the second one is a little bit cutthroat. It's quite similar to how we operate our business locally too though. And the second point with managing offshore teams is you have to get the right people. To be honest, there are operators in offshore teams that are not the right people. We get them now and then, and when you get the people that aren't right for your business, nothing you can do is going to make it right. They will continue doing things their own way the whole time. So what are the differences in mindset? And it's a mindset thing, it's nothing else, it's a mindset thing. What are the differences in mindset that makes the right person from the wrong person? We have had people who in our business who have the mindset of, I'll get it 85% done, pass it back, and then the client can tell us what needs to be complete. That's the wrong mindset. The right mindset needs to be, nothing leaves here until I'm 100% satisfied that it's perfect so that it won't come back. What are some other mindset things that make a difference? A critical one that we hear about all the time, particularly around subcontinent Asia, quite often the guys just want to help. They really, really want to help. So they tend to say yes, yes, yes to everything, even if they don't have the skills. They've got the mindset that maybe they can go find the skills, so they overpromise, and that leads to under-delivery because at some point they don't have the skills, they're scrambling to find it, even then it's shoddy workmanship. So that whole mentality of, and quite often when that happens, they go quiet and they don't tell you, so you're surprised at the end. So that mentality of, they need to understand the mentality of under-promise, over-deliver, super critical. Client experience, having a positive experience. It's not just about the service, it's about the experience. That's another mindset challenge. Finding the right people will change your life when you manage that. Willingness to follow processes, super important. You don't really want offshore teams, remote resources doing their own thing, doing stuff outside the bounds of what you've suggested to them. And one of the things that has been really key for me in finding the right resources is who's open to transparent validation of what they're doing. Putting time checking software and screenshot taking software on their computers so that you can validate what they're doing when they're working on your stuff. Automated timekeeping software that's really high level of validation. The offshore resources that resist that type of stuff tend to be the ones that aren't hitting these other points that are super important for the business. So get the right mindset, people. What I've found is that those that don't have the right mindset are untrainable. We try to nurture. In the end, we have to let them go, and then we find a better person, and the better person fits better, and we wondered why we held on for so long. I have to say, that's not just using offshore resources, that's in building teams generally. And the final point is in achieving consistency. This sort of comes back on you to lead and on them to follow. But the only way to get consistent outcomes from offshore teams is to create processes and create an environment where processes are rigidly adhered to. So that includes creating systems of audit and quality checks, and maybe having them software delivered so the actual processes drive what's going on, drive fulfillment in your agency. But processes on you to actually develop them and make them detailed enough so there's no assumptions. That the resource will either follow them and get it right or not follow them and make a mistake. That's point number 3. At the recording of this video, as the MD of Globotel, I'm currently managing a team of over 200 staff members across 4 countries. Managing offshore teams is what we do well. It's what we're best at. It's our genius, if you will. If this video, if what I've said in this video makes a lot of sense, but you'd like to shortcut your road to offshore staff, I'll put a link in the description below and in the comments. If you just follow the link, let us know a bit about what you're doing in your digital agency. I'll get one of our digital business specialists to reach out and get in touch and see if we can help. If you're really nice about it too, I'm quite happy to offer you a complimentary trial so you can just see how everything hangs together and everything sits and see if it's the right model for your business. Thank you. I'm Damien Papworth and I look forward to seeing you next week on Monday.